that Hawk had it done on that one. It
right.
was just too beautiful.
It was a great
It
play.
was. The last one that we have is Tim Lester overthinking 2-point conversions. What are your thoughts?
I think you flip your coin and go, which way do you go? I mean, they haven't been very good at 2-point conversion plays. And that's true. Sometimes you wonder, just line it up and run the ball, you know. Everybody overthinks 2-point conversion plays because it's like, what do we do here? You know, this time around, then they, opted for a pass. And, before I thought Iowa wasn't creative enough back in the teens. Now that I think sometimes they get a little too creative, but ultimately, again, this was an inch or two difference between going up 18-15 and then ultimately 16-15, which turned out to be soul crushing.
I know. Even Moulton, though, thought he had it. So it was just really close. All right, looking ahead a little bit, Iowa is heading to USC. Saturday's game is Iowa's first against USA in LA since 1976. But this is the first meeting since the 2019 Holiday Bowl at the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl in San Diego. Hawkeyes won this one 49-24. Those are some good memories heading into this. But this USC team's a little bit different. What do they do so well?
Wow. You know what? The receivers are pretty comparable to that team that had guys still playing and going to Pro Bowls, Michael Pittman and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'll say this, that they're very explosive. They average 500 yards in offense a game. So they are really good that way. Jaden Mayava is a terrific quarterback, and these two top receivers, Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane, are as good of a combination as you'll find. They're probably up there, if not a little bit better than the Indiana guys. The difference is in this team is they're not real strong at the line of scrimmage, and they give up a lot of rushing yards. So the average yards per rush they give up is 4.3. So Iowa has a chance to really dominate along the line of scrimmage. It's just a matter of can you slow down the passing game and really get after the quarterback. That's going to be crucial, kind of like it was in this game where Amir Smith-Marset scored 3 touchdowns 3 different ways in the same quarter. And on the other, you have so many pros in that game. Sam Laporte, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman, Velus Jones. I'm forgetting a couple others. So many great wide receivers. And Tyrone Tracy, who's a starting running back in the NFL. And yet here they are. They're, and Iowa was able to really blow out USC. I don't see that quite happening, but I do see it being a high-scoring game.
You bet. Let's do our pick'ems.
Okay.
Let's start with this one.
All right. I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes.
You're the only one going with the Hawkeyes. That's why I kind of teed you up like that. Go ahead.
There are a lot of reasons why to pick USC. I mean, Iowa struggled going out west.
Yep.
They're an explosive team. They've had a lot of success. They are, really playing well. But for whatever reason, I just like the way Iowa's physicality is lining up. And I think if Iowa's defense can kind of lock down on those receivers, and they've played pretty well against good receivers, as long as they get a good pass rush going and disrupt Jaden Mayava, I think that they've got a chance to really control the game with their running game and then dabble in a little bit passing-wise. I mean, again, they're 13th in the Big Ten in yards per carry allowed. That's something that Iowa can and should take advantage of.
Don't get me wrong, I would love to be wrong. However, you just said the troubles out west, obviously, that Iowa's had, and then they just haven't beat a ranked team. So that's kind of where I'm just like, I don't know if they can get it done. That's where I stand.
I'll give one more other example
go
here.
ahead.
And that is, by far, Iowa's, one of the best teams in the country when it comes to kickoff returns with Caden Weegan.
Yeah, I heard
They're
of him.
last in the Big Ten in kickoff yards allowed. Okay. So they've got a chance to take advantage of that.
Okay. I like the sound of that. Let's move to our other in-state. That's North Dakota State, UNI. This was a complete sweep. North Dakota State, for all of us, self-explanatory, right?
Yeah. Good luck, UNI.
Yeah. Hey, they did get their first MEC win, though, so that was big. That was big for them. Absolutely. Yes. All right, our next one we picked was Notre Dame and Pitt, and we all went with Notre Dame.
Pitt has a great offense. They're the number one offense in the ACC. They're ascending. But Notre Dame is a line of scrimmage team. It's playing really well, too. It's lost 2 very close games in the early part of the season. They've got aspirations. But if it gets into a shootout, I think Pitt could win that game. But I really like the way C.J. Carr is playing. I like the way Notre Dame's playing.
Yeah. And then we have Oklahoma and Alabama. We all went Alabama. We're kind of boring this week.
Yeah.
Why did you go Bama?
I really think that they're playing it as well as any team in the country, certainly in the SEC. I think if you were to ask me who's going to win the SEC, I would say Alabama. I like Ty Simpson. He's Crimson Tide, as they say. So I think they've got a chance. John Mateer is a really good quarterback, too, for Oklahoma, and they've played really well defensively. I just don't know that they have the gas on offense to really
they've struggled a little bit offensively this season, so I don't know if they can keep up with that Bama squad. And our last one is Texas and Georgia. This one killed me, but you went Georgia, right?
Oh, yeah.
I, too, went Georgia, although don't tell my family. All right? Why'd you go Georgia?
I mean, Texas has kind of been a plain Jane team.
Yeah.
I mean, for all the hype of Arch Manning, they came into the season #1. They've only played well, like against Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt's a good team, but that was the only game where they have played well. Now, Georgia has been equally kind of unimpressive, but they did get in a shootout with Tennessee and won that game, which I'm sure hurt your family a little bit. But I do think that Georgia's just a little bit better, and it's hard to win there. I mean, between the hedges, and hopefully they just don't show too many of those mug commercials that are on TV about Go Dogs. I don't know. I hate that commercial.
Yeah. Coach Sark and Coach Sark, Arch Manning, they're figuring it out this year. That's what we'll call this year. Things will get better for Texas in the future. All right. We will be right back after this. All right, welcome back into On Iowa Live. Well, it is crossover season, so we are going to talk just a little bit about Iowa men's hoops. They have beaten Robert Morris now 101-69, Western Illinois 77-58. But Scott, you and I were both at that home opener against Robert Morris, and I have to say that there's just a different energy right now in Carver. I know there's the new additions, with the student section, which I think is going to be great down the road and everything, but at the same time, the way that, Coach McCollum and his players did what I call the victory lap, kind of high-fiving fans, thanking for them and coming there. It just feels different. Did you get that same vibe?
Absolutely, and I think in the first half, there was a play where Bennett Sturts got fouled and went to the free throw line, and Ben McCollum stood up and turned towards the crowd, and he starts throwing his arms up. Come on, let's go. And you could see that people standing up because it's just kind of everybody been lulled to sleep, and this was just kind of a moment, in the past, or they're knitting or whatever they do in the stands. And in this case, he's not going to allow that to happen. And he wanted to will people into it, and I thought that was really great. And as you said, the victory lap, so organic. Go over to the student section, then high-five people around the court, get people involved. That's what's really been missing, because I know Iowa fans still love their team. They love the men's team like they love the football team, like they love the women's team, and yet they've been kind of just in the doldrums a little bit because out of sight, out of mind. They haven't given a reason. Now you've got a reason. You've got a personal attachment because they are coming to see you. And they need to do this because as we look at the team, only one returner, and he didn't play last year. So we're trying to relearn these guys. Usually we'd have great questions like, how's this different than last year? And they don't have any idea.
And I will say too, for us as media members too, when we're waiting for the team to walk off, we know the women are going to go, they're going to meet in the circle, they're going to, do their breakdown, they're going to wave at the crowd. And after the game, I was like, I don't know where they're going. I don't know what they're doing, and so you just kind of like wait to see what they do. And then they did the victory lap. And I thought that was really nice. In that game too, it was evident that they are going to play aggressive defensively. I think of the Isaiah Howard play where he's just, he's getting that steal and he's jumping on the ball. He's feeding it the other way. And then Bennett Sturgis feeding it to Cooper Koch down low. And that was evident. I think that also excited fans a little bit.
I agree. I think we have not seen good defense at Iowa men's basketball forever. I couldn't tell you the last time we saw a team that tried to play defense and actually was good at it. And I think in this situation, to see in the first couple possessions where they are locked in and they're forcing shots. Now, I think there was like one where it came right down to the buzzer, and then it was like a baseline jumper that went in. I thought, oh, that's too bad because this place will get set off. But you saw the energy from people watching them play defense. And I liken it to the story that Hayden Fry would always tell about his first game in 1979, because Iowa was so pathetically stale before that on offense, that when he was out there and they started moving guys around, everybody gave him a standing ovation just because it's different. And I think that was the same way with Iowa men's basketball. It's like, oh, wow, they're playing defense. That's different. And you saw that didn't wane. That wasn't like they weren't taking possessions off, that they were really in tune with that. And that will help them as much in February as it does now.
I think the thing, too, is we're just learning more about this team as we kind of go on. I know they're back in action against Xavier. I know Coach McCollum wasn't very happy against in their game against Western Illinois, but their schedule is going to ramp up. After seeing, maybe this Iowa team, how do you think maybe they're going to handle this Big Ten slate? It's going to be a bumpy ride, but, I mean, it's always a learning process, right? Yeah,
this is a team that is going to have some highs and lows over the next month, and they're going to lose a game that's really going to gut them, and then they're going to win a game. They're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And you got to let it play out because they're still learning. They're learning the Big Ten, but they're also learning each other because there's so many new players. Alvaro Figueres is, he had 13 points, 5 assists. He did everything that he did before when he was at Robert Morris, which there was a really cool video about him getting his ring before the game from the Robert Morris people. But I would be remiss to not mention the impact Bennett Sturts is having. He's been terrific. The other day against Western Illinois, where the team, had some moments where teaching moments, let's say, Bennett Sturts, 24 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, and no turnovers. That's the type of player I think we're all going to be surprised because we haven't seen a point guard that's this efficient. I couldn't tell you that. Andre Woolridge, maybe. 30 years ago. Wow. When Nebraska was winning football titles, Andre Woolridge was playing well in basketball.
You brought it up, not me. I just want to go on record. All right. Well, we're going to have Hannah Stuelke's mom, Joanna Mantz, join us after the break to talk women's hoops.
right now, okay? Oh, check.
All right, welcome back into On Iowa Live. Scott Dochterman is still with me, but then we have Hannah Stuelke's mom, Joanna Mantz. We're so glad that you could join us back for another winter. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
The Iowa women, I mean, they're off to a fantastic start. They just beat Evansville 119-43, where they set the arena and program record for most points in a single game, and it was the largest win margin in program history. I'd say that's, a pretty good win and kind of what you expected from this team so far. But the new pieces, they kind of seem to be gelling early. I think that's exciting for fans too, because we didn't know how they were going to mesh, but then you also have just your key pieces right now. Thoughts so far on this Iowa women's team? I'll start with you, Scott.
There's a lot to put together, and obviously winning by 76 points was quite a bit to go through. But I mean, I like the composition of this team. I think they've got players at every spot who can do things, and then they're kind of doubled up, which makes things really great. I'm anxious to see when they play a really good team who kind of maneuvers, because I know it's not going to be easy to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
I look at like Addie Deal. I'm sure she probably thought, I'm coming in to start, and now she's coming off the bench. How is that going to, affect her big picture, not in the narrow. But Layla Hayes and Ava Hayden have been great in the post. They've freed up Hannah, who's played really well, at the 4. And now it's just a matter of, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Chit Chat Wright, who's been phenomenal in that position, a true point guard, which is great. So I like the pieces. I like the way they've played. Obviously, there's nothing to complain about yesterday, but going forward, Drake and UNI coming up, that's where we'll start to know a little bit more about this team.
Can you believe it's Hannah's senior season?
No, cannot. It's gone fast. It's been a great ride, and looking to cap it off with a bunch of great games coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I think a lot of fans are happy to see both Hannah and Ava on the floor together. I just say it took some time. Let Jan kind of work her post magic and everything. But obviously they had standout performances next year. Is Hannah excited about that matchup?
Oh, yeah. She's
working together.
Yeah, she's been saying since they played together over the summer that she really likes what Ava does, that she runs the floor well. She's strong. She, plays well back to the basket, which is really amazing. But she has really enjoyed it, and I think she's enjoyed stepping into that kind of mentor role. She did say last week that Layla kind of struggled some throughout the week. It's difficult. I tell people, like, they think, oh, this is going to be easy. I'm going to step right into basketball and it's going to be great. And about this time, I'm talking to the freshman parents and I'm telling them, your daughter's probably thinking, have I ever even touched a basketball before? Because everything's so fast and it's coming at you. And so it sounded like Layla was kind of struggling. And so I said to Hannah, just remind her, like, you're here for a reason. You are a great basketball player. You know what to do. And then for her to come out and have a game like she had yesterday was pretty outstanding. So that was really fun. And her parents, they had flown in last week and surprised her at practice. So yeah, Alaska's a ways away.
Yeah, so. Just a bit. yeah. What are you liking about just the Ava and Hannah connection right now, Scott? Anything standing out to you about those two, especially yesterday?
Well, what I like about it, and this is something that we wanted to see a few years ago, is that we know that you don't want, Hannah's got enough ability that you want to see her at multiple spots because she's capable of running the floor as a power forward and stretching her abilities out. Well, she's been needed to go back inside for the last couple of years, even though with her like Monica Zanana, that was great to work that way. And so I think that having a really, a developed five, and I think Ava Hayden always had it in her, and now she's taken that step forward, plus Layla Hayes, who I think will be able to play a lot of minutes. It might be like a 20 and 15 situation and then sprinkle in whether it's Hannah playing the five for a possession or two. I think that really allows Hannah to develop, as well as Ava, 2 double-doubles in her first 2 games. You can't complain about that, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then when you look, too, on the ends, Taylor McCabe and obviously Kylie Feuerbach and what they're bringing not only to the court but also their leadership as well. I think that's I've seen that kind of very early on as well.
Yeah. I think it's evident if you've been watching. Taylor McCabe has worked really hard on her defense. She in the past has kind of struggled with matchups and stuff, and she's really improved. And I think she took a really great play out of Caitlin's playbook. That defensively, she's just knifing in there and grabbing those rebounds. That's not something I've ever watched guards do before Caitlin. And so it's, the Caitlin effect is still at work and alive in Iowa. And so it's been fun to watch those things. But, I know Taylor is just a workhorse. She's in there getting shots up all the time. And, it's going to be evident. I'm not sure what her stats were. That's what Scott's here for yesterday. But 3 for 6, maybe 4 for 7. I mean, she can just outright shoot the ball. And her speed of release is so fast. It's just fun, and her and Hannah are roommates, and so they're pretty good friends. So I gotta shout out T-Money. She's a great kid, great player, and it's gonna be fun to watch her the rest of the season.
Yeah.
What I really do like is that it seems like every player has their one niche specialty, and then they can adapt and do different things. But as you said with Taylor, hit 4 3-pointers yesterday for 12 points. You look at Kylie Feuerbach, she can play so many different positions. She's a great defender. She's a hustler. She can also shoot. She can distribute. She can do all. She's kind of the glue player, not Kate Martin glue as a scorer, but can do all those other things. Then Emily Rodriguez, I think, is going to be terrific. And she's coming off the bench now. And then Addie Deal, a 5-star, guard. And Taylor Stremlo is kind of getting lost right now a little bit, but she's also kind of that glue player. And so they're really deep. And I think that's what this next month or so is going to be about, is finding what's the minute count that works well for everybody. And do you have to cut the rotation down, and then ultimately they're going to have to bulk it up at different times because there'll be injuries and you'll be in the Big Ten, and there's a lot of obviously great competition there.
Glad I don't have to make those decisions. So we're going to talk more women's hoops when we come back.
Welcome back. We're joined by Trey from Elite Fitness. Trey, what is the importance of strengthening and conditioning
The red shirting. The red shirting one. Is that fine? Okay, perfect.
Welcome back. We're joined by Trey from Elite Fitness. Trey, what is the importance of strengthening and conditioning at the high school level?
So I would say there's 3 main points, the first one being injury prevention. So we are training these kids to be strong enough and mobile enough so that they are ready to handle anything they might encounter in their sports.
Welcome back. We're joined by Trey from Elite Fitness. Trey, what is the importance of strengthening and conditioning at the high school level?
So I would say there's 3 main points, the first one being injury prevention. So we are training these kids to be strong enough and mobile enough so that they are ready to handle anything they might encounter in their sports.
All right, we're having some technical difficulties. Let's get to an audience question. Does Jan plan on redshirting any players to balance out the classes? I think it's a possibility. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's still pretty early. You want to give everybody a fair opportunity before you really just make that decision. But I would say, you know, based on this, probably Journey Houston might be a redshirt candidate. She played, you know, against Southern and played, I think the other day too, but you still got a few more opportunities. It's just when you do look at the full team, you know, do you see yourself fitting in not only in the rotation but on the fringe of the rotation? And that's probably not the case now, but she's still a very, very talented player.
Yeah, very much. And you know, I think something that would have maybe pushed that along is had Tegan Mullaney not gone down the first trip down the floor with this turned ankle. And so, you know, Journey has absorbed those minutes. But, you know, Hannah has said to me, it's my senior year. I'm not coming off the floor if I don't have to. So she's hoping that whoever backs her up at the 4 has very minimal minutes this year. So, but we'll just see.
Yeah. We were talking during the break, too. Chit-chat, right? I think she has just been phenomenal so far. I think you didn't know what was going to transpire just because she is younger, a younger player. And, I mean, replacing a Lucy Olsen, replacing a Caitlin Clark. I mean, come on. Those are just huge shoes to fill. But I think what she's doing so far has just been effortless. Like, she's not doing too much. She's really sticking to what she's good at. And I think it's just really fun to watch her.
Very much so.
She's like a pass-first point guard, but who can score. I mean, she scored 16 and had 10 assists yesterday. That's pretty good. That's almost Caitlin territory there. And then she was 9 and 7 in the first game. So she's engineering victory, which is what you want from a point guard, and distributing to everybody. And then, oh, by the way, I can also score. And she just has kind of this calm demeanor, which is rare, especially for a young transfer like herself. So, but you know, I remember her when she decided to pick Iowa. She got a shout out, I think it was from Erica Wheeler on Twitter, and I thought, okay, you know, she's well known. So I think she's really stepped in and done a really nice job.
Yeah, she's a great player. Hannah had said, you know, in the summer, she said, "Mom, this Chit-Chat, she's small, but she's really good." And so it'll be fun to watch how the year progresses. And I really like, you know, I mean, I was a post player, and you don't really get the ball unless they pass it to you. So I have appreciated Chit-Chat's entry passes into the post. And, you know, Ava Hayden she can just turn and score, which is just a phenomenal skill. So it's going to be fun. I've enjoyed it.
They have a great early connection, and then Iowa schedule this week, hosting Drake Thursday, visiting UNI on Sunday. That is not easy, regardless of, you know, where they stand and everything. These in-state matchups, they're fun, and they have been fun. what do we like about them? Well, that they exist, number one,
Yes.
on the women's side. I know you were going to say that.
I love them. I mean, I remember when the men would do the round robin, and it was always such a good, like, clean break from football because they would end football before Thanksgiving. And then the week after Thanksgiving, it would be men's basketball, the 2 in-state games, and then Drake would be the next week. I love the fact that the women are still doing it. It's very competitive, obviously. Great teams at all 4 spots. And I think it energizes people. And the kids who play, who are in-state kids, both teams, they get into it because they see, if you're at UNI and, well, I wanted to be in Iowa. I played against them in high school, or in AAU, I played with them. Right. There's no harm in it. And if you lose, it stinks. But at the same time, not playing, I think, is worse.
Yeah, I think it's great. The 2 transfers that we have in and these young players, they don't know, Addie Deal's not going to know what it is to play against Iowa State or Drake, Journey Houston, she'll get it because she played with several of those players on the AAU circuit. But I think one good thing we have going for us is that they're not coming in with any nerves, I also know last year Emily Rodriguez's best game was against Iowa State. So we already know that she's got some confidence rolling into that. So that will be good. But I'm excited for this week. We've got a lot of friends that played at Drake, and Taylor McCabe's sister plays there, and I think today might even be her birthday. But that'll be exciting. It's always fun to watch those matchups, and I'm thankfully glad that Katie Dinnebier graduated and left because she was a phenomenal basketball player. Missouri Valley Player of the Year last year, and we expected to be drafted, and she chose to stay for pharmacy school. But Hannah's played against these gals for years, and her and Riley Goebel over at UNI, they have gone after it. And I always say to Hannah now, Riley's going to try and block you. Make sure you're. And then when Hannah scores against her, she kind of gives me this look in the stands like, Mom, she didn't block me. And I think, well, don't count your chickens before they're hatched, girl. You got some game left to play. So it's always a fun matchup, and it's tough to go on the road. It's tough at UNI, but thankfully I think the crowd might be kind of pro Hawkeyes. Last time we were there was a lot of Hawkeye fans. So
yes, I do remember that. And I do want to ask too, the crowd. I mean, third sellout. It's just a movement. It's so fun to watch. It's so fun to be a part of, even if you're on the sidelines. What this program has done, Scott, it's just been phenomenal.
I wrote about this last week, which is how this program capitalized on the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, but then took it over. And that's really important because it's easy for everybody to latch on to the superstar and then kind of fade off. But this is where NIL has succeeded because NIL puts these young women in the public eye. That puts them on their Instagram, and they're representing themselves in these businesses, and everybody gets to see them. So they're building attachments with these players. And then the fact that they're positive, they're in the community, they do so many good things, and they're winning, and people like them. I mean, this is part of the reason they're successful. They were successful before Caitlin too, but I think now they've built that community connection that really is embedded, and that's why for the 3rd straight year, only 4 times in Big Ten history have a team sold out all their tickets. 3 of them are Iowa, and the other one's UCLA this year. So it's pretty impressive.
UCLA sold out, huh?
This year.
That's impressive because I've watched all the games and there are no crowds in the stands. And I think, man, why would anyone want to go anywhere but Iowa and play in front of 15 people? I also have thought, Evansville's never going to play in front of that big of a crowd again. Maybe, I shouldn't say never, but same with, Southern. They come in and they play against Iowa in this big arena that's full, and it's got to be exciting for them. It is a movement. I agree with what you say. I have a small social media following, and I get people talking to me all the time. Oh, I follow you. I saw that you posted this and you did that. So I can't imagine these girls that have, 20, 50, 125,000 followers, they go out there and say, wow, I really like to drink water. And then all these teeny boppers are like, Mom, can you buy me that water? So,
on that note, Iowa's social media, its Instagram page has more than the next 3 teams in the Big Ten. I
It
mean, no.
is.
In fact, I think UConn women are the only one that have more than Iowa.
Yeah.
And then you look, the top 3 athletes in social media following either on TikTok or Instagram are female athletes or women's athletes on the basketball team, even over the football team, even over men's basketball. So it
Well,
shows
I
the
love to see
power of
it.
what they have.
Yes, I love to see it. We're definitely going to have these two back on the show, so prepare, you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
We'll be back. All right, welcome back into On Iowa Live. We are here with Corey Swart, the Mount Vernon Lisbon girls and boys cross country coach, plus their hardware that you guys brought along from the state tournament. Tell me what these two teams were able to accomplish there in Fort Dodge.
Yeah, they had a goal kind of this whole season of being able to bring back a couple trophies from Fort Dodge, and fortunately, we were able to do so.
Yeah. What places were they? Second, third?
Yep, so the girls were third and the boys were runner-up.
Yeah.
So,
Are you glad that you didn't have to race this last weekend in Fort Dodge? I don't know if you saw the weather.
Right. Yes. So I'm very glad, actually, and I know the kids were too, that they were able to get the state meet in Fort Dodge the week before. Yeah.
When you looked at this team and you knew even going into the state meet, your competition, this is what's there. Did you think that this was attainable for your group?
I did, but we knew that we'd have to bring our best effort throughout the season. We know that Pella is just the standard on the girls' side and Gilbert is on the boys' side, but we knew top 3 was obtainable, and fortunately it worked out for us.
Yeah. What went well that day for both groups?
Well, finishing the last mile.
Okay.
We had a few kids step up big time and at the end there, and on the boys' side for sure, it kind of flipped the score on that last mile. And on the girls' side, they just did a wonderful job finishing it out too, to close it out. So it was fun to see that.
Talk a little bit about your training. I was able to get a little glimpse when I came and did the athlete of the week.
Yeah.
But you guys ran to ice cream.
We did. So we do a few fun things throughout the year. Kind of call them morale days that we need just in between some of the hard workouts. And so on that day you caught us, we were actually doing our Dan and Debbie's run where we run from Cedar Rapids on the trail all the way down to Ely. And it's definitely one of the most popular days of the year. The kids don't miss that day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's fun, though, when you can work that into it. When you do your training and everything on a weekly basis with this group, what are you making sure you are hitting in the weekly?
So a couple tough workouts a week when we don't have meets. So we want to hit it every, like 3 days and get after it. And then on the other days, we got to take it easy, but get in the mileage so that we're ready to go for, the championship season, which is conference, districts, and state. So fortunately, we were able to piece it together, and it worked out really well for us.
You bet. Well, we are not done talking with you guys, but we're going to have the entire team join us when we come back. All right, welcome back in. We are here with the Mount Vernon Lisbon girls and boys cross country teams. Let's introduce who's on the mic down here. Who are you?
I'm Dawson Shile.
Beautiful. And you are?
I'm Evelyn Moeller.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's chat about the boys' side. What went so well for you guys in Fort Dodge?
I really think it was just the team bonding. We just talked about it a lot in the hotel rooms and stuff, just what we were going to do. We stretched out as a team, too, and just prepared ourselves. And, we had Pell in the back of our mind.
Yeah.
And, we really just went out there and we did our job. We had a couple guys, as Corey said, just really step up. Anthony Armstrong, he passed like 15 people in the last mile, which is, yeah, it was great. But,
and for the girls' side?
Yeah, I think we really just trusted our training, like the coaches that gave us all our workouts, and we all just trusted our ability that we were all going to get the job done.
Yeah. But you guys throughout the season were able to win some pretty crucial competitions and meets and things like that. Which one's memorable? Which one stands out to you?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I think it was the Mount Vernon Invitational, since it
Okay.
was just at home. It was just nice to have that one under our belts. But we had a couple that were really good. But yeah, I'd say that one just at home was really special for us. So
Yeah. Is that same for you, or one that stand out for you guys?
I feel like for us at Wartburg, the conditions were really bad, and it was homecoming, and we were all distracted with other things, but we all worked really good together, and I don't know, placed really good and all ran really good.
Yeah. Do you enjoy running that course at Fort Dodge?
it's not one I really look forward to.
Okay.
But I don't mind it. It's not like the worst course I've ever ran, but no, it's definitely not my favorite to run. So
Yeah. What? Are you in the same boat?
I don't know, it's not the best course to run, but it's always a reward because getting
Yeah.
there, it's a treat.
Absolutely. What makes it so challenging?
Well, there's not many hills, but just the hills that there are, it's all at the last mile. So it's you're really dying, and then, you got a hill at the last half mile. It's not too fun, but, the atmosphere really it gets you through and stuff like that. So it's just nice to have fans and, everyone cheering you on and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Is that it? The hills that makes it?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The 3 back-to-back-to-back hills, those
Yeah.
are tough.
I gotta ask, 15 people that you passed? Yeah. You want to hand over the mic really quick? What was it? I mean,
You know, I just went in there the last mile, trying to catch as many people as I could.
yeah.
Because I heard we were down by like 10,
Okay.
so I was just dying out there. Just
Did
passing as
someone
many
just
people as
say
I
on the
possibly could.
course, like?
Yeah, it was Coach Caskey.
Oh, okay.
He was yelling at me.
And you had a second gear that you just kicked
Yeah,
in.
and I was just like, okay, I don't want to get third, so. I was
That's
just doing everything
amazing.
I
What
could to
did
get
you
second.
think of his performance when he was able to do?
It was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was huge for the team. And so we said we wanted to close out that last half mile,
Okay.
and Anthony Armstrong did it. And so it was just so fun to watch it all happen and just them celebrate the moment together. I'll never forget it.
Yeah. You guys mentioned, obviously, your training and the hard work that you put in throughout the season to be rewarded with a top 3 finish. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, my whole high school career, we haven't really done like amazing at state. We've just done kind of average, like what we were ranked and stuff like that. And this year, we had it in our mind that we really wanted to beat Pella. That's been a goal of mine for a long time, and I'm sure it's the same with these guys. So just going into the meet, we had that in the back of our heads, and also just, you know, the fans out there and the parents, we didn't want to let them down, so we really just gave it our all and just ran amazing. And yeah, I'm really proud of these guys for doing their job. So yeah.
Yeah. What made it rewarding for the girls?
I think like especially with all the seniors on it, we just wanted it so bad for them because, you know, what's a better way to go out than like to be on the deck? So we just wanted it so bad for them.
How many of you are seniors for the girls' side? Raise your hand. Yeah? Yeah? Wonderful.
We also have one more that's
one
not
more.
here, yeah.
Perfect. What does it mean, too, for this group to both go top 3 finishes at Fort Dodge?
It means a lot. It's actually the first time in program history that we've actually been able to do that. So it's just really really rewarding and stuff like that. And I'm just really glad that it was this group of guys that I got to do it with and everything in my senior season too. So yeah.
You guys practice together. You don't necessarily, you know, run together, but you practice together. How much do you guys push one another?
We push each other a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like we're all we're switching leaders every rep and stuff like that. And we're all just making each other better every day. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like they help you also?
Yeah, I would definitely think they help us because if they do one more rep, then the girls have to do one more rep. We can't just let like them get better and we can't get better. Like we have to get better at the same rate.
You bet. Thank you so much, guys, for coming down. I appreciate it. That'll do it for us this week on OnIowa Live.
Right.